Hello, this is Pastor Rick, and I want to welcome you to the Sunday Forum on this Sunday, November the 21st. I'm here with Howard Isaacson, and we are going to talk about an important topic, and that is, what is the vision? What is the plan? Taking a look at our feasibility study here at Emmanuel, leaning in to a possible campaign next year. And so I'm happy that Howard Isaacson, the CEO of Emmanuel Academies and Emmanuel Communities, is here to join me for the Sunday Forum. Welcome, Howard.
Well, thanks, Rick. It's great to be with you again.
So last week, this conversation was begun with Pastor Steve and Teresa talking about this campus, the feasibility study, and the improvements we want to make to the sanctuary, to the hospitality space outside the church and the family life center. And we're going to talk about today Emmanuel Academies and Emmanuel Communities to see what is the vision and how might a campaign help us to facilitate that work, both out here at the Emmanuel Academies and out at the park. So, Howard, let's begin with Emmanuel Academies, and let's give a sense to our people. Where are we with our leadership formation?
So it has been 3 short years since we welcomed our first Master of Divinity student. And over that course of time, we have grown from 2 students in September 2019 to 35 students today.
And I know some of those students are from the country of Rwanda, right? I mean, I have them in my class now. Every week we're excited about that. How many Rwandan students do we have?
So we have a total of 13 Master of Divinity students in Rwanda, and our first Doctor of Ministry student as well. Bishop Mugabo was so excited about our program and its impact and how we're delivering it that he wanted to pursue his Doctor of Ministry with us, utilizing the same model.
It's a good thing to have the bishop alongside of us, obviously. And so we've grown dramatically, and we think with the right resources, right, we could increase our students and our reach, not just in Rwanda, but in Latin America and here in the United States. Where are the opportunities, do you think, Howard?
So, Rick, there are many opportunities. We continue to see opportunities throughout Southwest Florida and throughout the U.S., but we also see opportunities in Central and South America. So we are working with Bishop Gomez out of El Salvador to customize a program specifically to raise up his evangelists to become pastors.
Right.
We're also working with Bishop Karen Castillo. She is the bishop of the Lutheran Church in Guatemala, and she is one of our Master of Divinity students. She has been a practicing pastor for many years, and she recognized that her theology has been shaped by her experiences and training on the ground, but has not been formal. And so she has joined our program to refine her theological understanding.
Howard, I was shocked, as you know, when a very prominent Latin American theologian, actually one of the most prominent historians in theological education, told us that if we offered a Spanish program, we could have how many students?
So Reverend Dr. Justo Gonzalez has participated in a project with us to pull together Spanish language resources. And during a gathering of all the participants across the country in this program, we talked about a creation of a Spanish language Master of Divinity that is not just Spanish language, but contextually appropriate.
Yeah. Right.
That it works for Spanish as a first language, whether they are here in the U.S. within various communities, or whether they are in Central or South America. And Reverend Dr. Justo Gonzalez was extremely excited, as you mentioned. He envisions that if we were to create a program, we could have up to 150 new pastors in the program in 3 years.
So those were the type of numbers that were, of course, thrilling, and we're even talking with the ELCA on whether they might help us here at Emmanuel fulfill that vision. But now, those are huge opportunities that you've laid out of expanding our reach, expanding our students, and also having professors in place who can help us fulfill this. What's this going to cost? What type of resources do we need here at Emmanuel to fulfill that kind of vision?
Well, that's a great question, Rick, because historically we had used the Celebration of Progress to raise funds to complement our founding gifts from George and Deanna Waterberg. They have fulfilled their gift, and that has been well invested. And we have, over the last year, launched a campaign where twice a year we are making an appeal to the congregation of Emmanuel and our donors beyond. Right now, that is generating about $200,000 in annual gifts.
So that's what we function. The school functions on $200,000 a year of gifts already coming in for the congregation. How would that have to grow to fulfill the vision?
So to fulfill the vision, at least in the short term, we need to effectively double our numbers, bring it up to at minimum $400,000 a year. To fund the existing programs, continue growing our English language program, and we are targeting to bring in 10 to 12 new Master of Divinity students in the next 12 months. And if we wanted to add the Spanish language program and begin recruiting for it, then we would need to target raising $400,000 or a bit more.
And with that money, you could also secure some teachers, some professors who could help us, not full salaries, but we could make it a more solid position here of being a professor teaching at Emmanuel Academies.
And that is absolutely correct, Rick. We have been blessed that we are able to leverage former leaders within ELCA seminaries who teach our students while they are pastoring at congregations. Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Reverend Dr. Clay Schmidt. And we are well positioned to add on to that as esteemed faculty at ELCA seminaries formally retire from their roles there and are looking to kind of keep their minds sharp and to continue to contribute to the church.
So that's a very exciting. We also have John Carrera, who's helping us out, who's finishing his PhD. We've got some wonderful opportunities, and you've laid out what type of resources we're going to need to continue to grow this program here at Emmanuel. So now let's shift gears and go to Emmanuel Communities. And here we're taking a look at the park, and you know, many of our people, Howard, have been out to the park. They've been either in the feeding program or been at the worship services with Pastor Will and Deacon D. So where are we now, and where are we going?
So the park lands were acquired at this point in time about 15 years ago. So they effectively sat for about 10 years. 5 years ago, December, Emmanuel Communities was formally formed. And since that point in time, we have invested very heavily into the land. We have built the multi-purpose Goodyear soccer and sports field, and that is used continuously and wonderfully. We have expanded the lake, and it now includes an area for wading birds and other things.
Right.
We have built asphalt parking lot, and we have installed a playground, which we anticipate serves at least 150 families each week who come out and enjoy being outside in the fresh air using the playground that we have built.
Obviously, we also have the Welcome Center where you've invested some resources as well. But of course, we're all thinking about the pavilion, and I won't ask you when it's going to be built because that date seems to always be shifting. But tell us about the pavilion, what we can expect next year.
So the pavilion's going to be effectively an open air structure, 60 by 40 in the core of the structure. It will harken back to some of the traditional Norwegian wooden churches, which we are very excited about. But at the same point in time, it will be very modern and will tie into our future development. We are waiting for one final drawing from one of our engineers as it relates to electrical conduit. Once that drawing is completed, our permit pack will be completed, and we will then submit it to the county to get our building permit.
So now that project has been paid for. But now we're thinking about, in the feasibility study, a new project, which is to build a church, but the church is really going to be a community center that can host, if I understand it right, host not only Will's services, but all sorts of projects in the community. Is that right?
That is correct. So when we look at Emmanuel Lutheran Church in the Mooring Line Drive campus, we know that barring COVID, more than 1,000 people visit this campus each week who are not formally affiliated with Emmanuel Lutheran Church as worshipers. And so it is a center for the community. And we look at what we can do out at Emmanuel Community Park based on what we're already doing here. And we anticipate that a community center that is multi-purpose, that is intentionally designed to be used 7 days a week for worship on Sundays and for other worship activities, but also that could be used Friday night for movies or Saturday evenings for a dance recital, or however the community can optimally utilize the space. That is our objective.
Now, I would assume that the vision for this community center will be a big part of the feasibility study, and if we move ahead, a big part of the campaign next year. Do we have any sense of a price tag around such a big project?
Yes, we do. So the community center ballpark will be about 20,000 square feet. We're also hopefully building at the same point in time about 15,000 feet of church offices, classrooms, meeting rooms for the church's work, but also to help facilitate our community partners. And this will help too to ensure the long-term sustainability of the site. We want to have rent-paying partners who can help us to cover the costs as we move forward. And we're very excited about that because we have partners that are already lined up and partners that are excited about working with us. Going back to the cost.
Okay.
So we are targeting, we have rough penciled about $7.5 million for this entire project. And numbers add up quickly. We right now do not have county water and sewer to the site.
So we have to provide all that to the building.
Correct. And that'll cost us $750,000 to actually have the pipes laid from the nearest terminal point. There are many other things, of course, that come into play, but we want to make sure that, of course, the building is well designed and extremely well built, that it is able to serve Emmanuel and the community for 30 to 50 years, and that effectively it is a legacy gift that we are making to that community and to the future of Emmanuel Lutheran Church.
So we said at the beginning, what's the vision, what's the plan? Here you're starting to see we have some big visions here at Emmanuel. Here out at the park, this community center, $7.5 million will transform that whole community and will establish a congregation out there as well. Also, you talked about Emmanuel Academies, right? And how that could double in size and be grounded with professors in the future, maybe even reaching out to Latin America with the Spanish program. These are big visions, and that's what the feasibility study is testing at this time. Have these visions captured our imagination? And if they have, then we're going to move them into the next phase of a campaign next year. Howard, thanks for being with us and sharing these really wonderful, powerful visions that the Lord has given to us here at Emmanuel. And I hope
Absolutely.
we'll hear from you about more questions at the Sunday Forum about both the future and the vision of Emmanuel Academies and Emmanuel communities. Thanks for joining us on this very important Sunday Forum.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, Rick. Thank you so much for the time and the opportunity to share the story.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.